Good evening, Cecil TV. I'm your host, Grant Handley. We're back with our Democracy 2026 column. Today, joining me today is Todd Creek. Todd, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Todd is a candidate running for the sheriff's office. Todd, we're glad that you're here joining us today. I will ask the question because I don't know, and for our viewers at home, who is Todd Creek?
So I am a 18-year veteran of the Cecil County Sheriff's Office, lifelong Cecil County resident, lifelong Republican. I grew up here, got married here, raised my family here.
Wonderful.
So,
great. Why are you running for Cecil County Sheriff?
So Grant, that's a good question. I've always seemed to have an overactive sense of responsibility. I was the oldest of four boys in my family. It was drilled in my head from an early age, set the example. You've got to be the one, set the example. Your brother's going to follow you. Other people are watching you. And I, with the current sheriff retiring, and I feel like it's kind of a lifelong thing for me. I've always wanted to be in law enforcement. So I'm excited to try and be the highest ranking law enforcement officer in the county.
Right. So, you look at politics on the national stage, and sometimes the debate is, are you pro-law enforcement or are you less pro-law enforcement and things like that.
Right.
When it comes to the Cecil County Sheriff, I imagine anyone running for sheriff is probably pro-law enforcement. So you had just stated that Sheriff Adams will be retiring, that will be an open seat. So, how does your leadership change from, the incumbent sheriff or from other candidates? How do you separate yourself as a sheriff? What is the role of the sheriff, and how can you be a different candidate? Because I imagine most people with the ambition to become a sheriff probably are, looking to support and uplift their department. So, how can you make yourself different?
Well, so I don't know that I need to make myself that much different. I think Sheriff Adams has done an outstanding job in his career with the sheriff's office. We have grown in tremendous ways in the last 12 years or so. We've become very competitive with salary now. Our equipment is great. We're treated well. So I want to take over for that. I want to expand on that. I want to grow the sheriff's office. My assignment in the sheriff's office is I run the school resource unit, so I'm in charge of the deputies that are in the schools every day.
Sure.
We currently at the sheriff's office have 5 deputies covering 19 buildings. I would like to double that number in my first term if I could, and have 10 deputies in schools pretty quickly. School safety is a big thing of mine. It's been a lot of my career. But I want to make the Cecil County Sheriff's Office a place where a 21, 22-year-old recruit will come and want to spend their entire career serving the citizens of Cecil County, and not come because that's where they got hired, get a little bit of training, and then as soon as they're certified and on their own, run to somewhere else where they can make more money or better equipment or whatever. I want people to be able to dig their roots down here in Cecil County and serve our citizens.
People really talk about, police recruitment and retention, and it seems that retention is the more difficult of those two hurdles. Do you have plans for how can you better retain? Is that a culture thing?
I do, and it is a culture thing. It's one of my 3 points on my platform is deputy retention and recruitment. And again, we want to create an atmosphere and continue to create the atmosphere where people want to stay. And the biggest hiccup for a long time was salaries.
Sure.
Okay. Guys could go down to Baltimore County and make 20 grand more right off the bat. Our FOP at the Cecil County Sheriff's Office, along with Sheriff Adams, have worked very, very hard along with the county, to bring us up to where we are very competitive now.
Yeah.
So, and then as far as that goes, people may not understand the sheriff is also in charge of the detention center. Right now in Maryland, Cecil County Detention Center is the highest paid detention center in the state of Maryland. There for a while, we were way, way behind in manpower there.
Yeah.
We were having patrol deputies work overtime shifts at the detention center to cover some open spots. We've been able to reverse that, and we're heading in the right direction.
Great. You mentioned your background of being a school resource officer. Obviously, Cecil County has been very lucky to be spared of some of the horrors that gun violence can yield. But there has been an uptick in school shootings throughout the nation, and it is just the worst nightmare for anyone, a parent, a citizen, a student. given your background as a SRO, are we doing everything we can to prevent this type of tragedy in our school system?
So I feel like we were for a while there, Grant. We, and when I say we, I mean the Sheriff's Office in partnership with Cecil County Public Schools, had initiated at the ALICE protocols, which stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, or Evacuate. And so we had taught that to the students, we had taught that to the staff, and we would drill that on a regular basis. However, the state of Maryland, through legislation through the Maryland Center for School Safety, has backed that way off because of the, like you said, the trauma from an event like that that the drills would potentially cause.
Sure.
So it has become severely watered down at this point, and that's something that we want to, along with the Maryland Center for School Safety, go down to Annapolis and try and get that changed. In law enforcement, it seems like the pendulum swings one way for a while and then it kind of swings back.
Right.
So we're hoping for a swing back, because we have to have protocols in place on how to protect our students and how to protect our staff members, but we can't really drill it to make sure it works.
So these are standards set by, you said, the Maryland Center for School Safety. So you couldn't break off and perhaps conduct a drill that you felt was more.
No.
It's got to be. It is a state-driven policy.
It's legislation. We have to follow it. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And with maybe the increased SRO number too, from 5 to 10, maybe that's another factor to consider.
Well, the biggest deterrent for somebody is just pulling up and seeing a marked police car sitting out in front of the school building, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely
doesn't always work, but it is a deterrent. So.
Yeah. Another really hot topic in politics, state, federal, or county, is out of 24 counties in Maryland, Cecil County is one of 9 that have a 287G agreement with the Immigration Customs and Enforcement Agency. This agreement facilitates immigration enforcement efforts with detention facilities. As sheriff, would you continue those agreements, and if so, why do you think that's necessary?
So our main job is to protect the citizens of Cecil County. What we currently have is we have deputies that are trained through the ICE protocols out of detention center. So if we have an individual that comes to our detention center, gets arrested on the street, okay, so now they've committed a crime against the citizens of Cecil County, and now they're in the detention center, right? So I would continue that plan to where they're checked through that process, and then if need be, then dealt with that way.
Sure.
But yeah, I would continue that.
One of the organizations that I've actually had the pleasure of interacting with a little bit is you have the Maryland Sheriff's Association, I believe. What is their role throughout the state, and how do you envision a relationship with them if were you to be elected sheriff?
So I would definitely want to join that association. I'm not 100% up on exactly what they do. I know Sheriff Adams is a member of the Maryland Association of Sheriffs, but I know that they are a resource.
Right.
If we're going through something in our county, there are other sheriffs in the state that have probably gone through that and had that experience, so you can rely on their guidance to help get you through that particular situation, whatever it might be.
Great. Any other final thoughts today while you're with us, or any message you want to get out there to the voters?
So, the sheriff, when you're voting in a sheriff, you're voting in the sheriff, but the sheriff gets to pick a team. Yep. You get to pick your chief deputy, you get to pick your major. So I have done that. I've made mine public. And so between the 3 of us, when the election comes, we will have over 85 years of law enforcement experience in Cecil County.
Yeah.
So we're coming prepared to take over. We're coming as a team, ready to keep the Sheriff's Office moving forward and keep Cecil County safe.
Do you want to share the names of those 2 gentlemen?
Sure. So my chief deputy would be Stephen Brownhill, who is currently a captain at the Sheriff's Office. He has either worked in, supervised, or commanded every unit in the entire Sheriff's Office. And then for my major, I have Larry Waldridge, who's retired from the Elkton Police Department, spent 37 years working for them, was interim police chief at one point for the town of Elkton. So that's going to be my chief and my major.
Great. Todd, thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you coming on the show.
You.
To our voters and viewers at home, thank you for watching, and we will continue our Democracy 2026 segments.